Since the creation of the Constitution, there has been a constant struggle between individual liberties and public safety. This contrast manifests itself in almost every issue. Is it more important to preserve the rights of the individual or protect the safety of the public? This question is central to debate concerning gun control and has widespread implications for the American people. Gun control has its roots in the passing of the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights in 1791. It called for a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This statement has throughout time been the battle cry for those against gun control. That was until the 1920s and 30s saw the rise of three major developments: the invention of the machine gun, the handgun, and the rise of organized crime. This backdrop fostered the first real gun control legislation passed by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1934. It was called the National Firearms Act, which taxed about $200 per gun. 4 years later, in the Federal Firearms Act, it became mandatory that all sellers obtain a license from the U.S. government and submit names of buyers to the U.S. Treasury. The next round of thorough legislation came after the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy. The Gun Control Act of 1968 expanded previous acts, creating more detailed licensing and record keeping, banning mail-order guns, and forbidding the sale of firearms across state lines. Most notably, however, it banned sale of those convicted of felonies, the insane, and drug users. What most of us know as modern gun control on a federal level has to do with the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act of 1994. The Brady campaign, formerly Handgun Control, Inc., began in the 1970s on a mission of making a safer America. At this time, perspective was beginning to change about the purpose of handguns, assault rifles, and gang violence. As violence grew, it eventually reached President Bill Clinton in the early 90s.
I still remember the first time I pulled the trigger on a .410 shotgun because I was too little to hold a 12 gauge. I can remember these things. This is part of the culture of a big part of America. But people have taken that culture, taken this important part of the life of millions of Americans, and turned it into an instrument of maintaining madness.
The passing of the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act and Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act instituted a 5-day waiting period for background checks. The FBI conducts these checks by the National Instant Criminal Background System. The latter law, known as the Assault Weapons Ban, banned the manufacture, possession, and importation of most assault weapons for civilian use. Yet, there are loopholes, and various state-by-state differences, like the gun show loophole, that people continually exploit to gain access to these weapons. Furthermore, the assault weapons ban expired in 2004, showing that federal law doesn't always hold true. If gun laws vary on a state-to-state basis, what's Pennsylvania's position on gun laws?
Pennsylvania law allows the use of a concealed weapon with a license. However, acquiring a license is a long process that is meant to allow only the most certified people the ability to carry a weapon. Having such measures in place protects insane or unstable people from acquiring guns, ultimately keeping society safer as a whole. While most universities have different rules in their state laws, some universities have kept what states have put in place. As of now, 5 states have universities that allow students to carry a concealed weapon. These 5 states are Oregon, Mississippi, Wisconsin, Utah, and Colorado. Altogether, over 200 universities allow students to carry a concealed weapon. Gun rights proponents argue that their basic Second Amendment rights shouldn't be repealed when on a college campus. Their rights should carry with them everywhere they go. While these states allow concealed weapons, most states have a different opinion when it comes to guns on campus. For instance, Penn State does not allow students to carry a weapon on campus, concealed or not. However, students can check in and out weapons at University Park Police Station. This allows some students who may hunt the ability to do so while keeping other students safe on campus. While this rule keeps students much safer, other universities are more lax when it comes to gun control. In its current state, how do Penn State students feel on campus?
Yeah, I definitely feel safe on campus.
University Park and the surrounding State College area is one of the safest places in the entire country.
I've always felt safe on this campus.
I feel very safe on Penn State's campus and the surrounding areas. There was unanimous consent from all students interviewed that they felt safe on Penn State main campus. But how safe are they really? Four may seem like a small number, but it only takes one instance to make a campus unsafe. Is it really that hard to imagine that something like Virginia Tech shooting might happen here? Some students want to be prepared for such an incident. That's why these such students feel that they should be allowed to carry weapons on their college campus to protect themselves. In a Fox News opinion poll taken in April 2007 of 900 registered voters, they were asked the question, do you think tougher gun laws can help stop things like the Virginia Tech shooting, or do you think the people who commit these kinds of acts will always find guns? Those people who favor the right to carry guns on campus believe that the people who want to commit those acts will always find guns, so the only way to combat this is to arm themselves. However, those students are really in the minority, by a large margin, with a few outliers saying they would feel safer. Let's take a look at the interviews.
I would probably feel a lot less safe.
I would feel less safe if people were walking around with guns.
I would feel less safe.
I'd feel a lot less safe just because seeing guns makes me uncomfortable.
I would feel more safe because if I have the right to possess a gun, then I would be able to defend myself if I needed to.
I think it would be safer. If I was the only student to possess a gun, I'd feel safe. But I mean, obviously, if you're going to let people carry on campus, then they need to be tested properly.
An August 2012 survey completed by the Public Religion Research Institute found that 77% of Americans think that people should not be allowed to carry concealed guns on college campuses. Numerous professors have stated that they would feel uncomfortable in classroom discussions or debates if guns were present. Experienced police officers from Arizona argue against guns on campus, contending that they have a lot of experience with guns and more guns does not lead to greater safety. They also warn that when you mix alcohol, drugs, youth, and handguns, the result is not good. In this battle between civil rights and personal protection, there have been many contradicting studies and statistics supporting both arguments for and against guns being allowed on college campuses. College campuses are distributed throughout the entire United States across both rural and urban communities. This difference in cultures causes there to be differences in the types of guns and gun violence in these two very different environments. We asked college students on campus about the number of gun-related deaths in urban compared to rural environments. Let's see what they had to say.
I think more gun-related deaths occur in urban areas.
Definitely urban.
I would say urban because everybody's closer together compared to rural.
Definitely urban.
Urban areas. Urban areas.
Probably more in urban areas.
Probably urban environments.
Much more in urban environments.
Popular thought is wrong regarding the statistics of gun-related deaths each year. People automatically assume that more deaths occur in urban neighborhoods, though this is not the case. Most are surprised to discover that the statistics for gun-related deaths are more or less the same in urban and rural communities. 4 out of every 100,000 people in rural areas and 4.6 out of every 100,000 people in urban areas. However, the causes behind these deaths differ greatly depending on the nature of the community. Citizens living in rural areas are much more likely to commit suicide or die due to a gun accident, whereas citizens living in urban areas are more likely to die via homicide or murder.
Gun control has been a controversy for years, and as long as Americans have freedom of speech, there may never be a single answer on where to draw the line on firearms. One of the biggest arguments nowadays is whether the Second Amendment is outdated. As shown by the people we interviewed, the opinion is significantly divided. Some believe the right to bear arms is a basic American right, while others believe it causes more hurt than help. That battle between individual liberties versus public safety rages on, with no end in the near future. The question of which will ultimately win is up to you. In the end, it is you who pulls the trigger.
Yeah, kind of weird to do that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me think about this one.
My eyes twitching.
I didn't really have an answer for that one.
All right. You do know what rural and urban mean.
I always get it mixed up, dude. The rural is country, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
En áreas urbanas.
Do you feel...
More in urban areas.
No. Wait, did we start over? That was terrible.
Yeah.
It is gonna make it to the bloopers.
No.